It's cycling's ultimate challenge. For years overshadowed by doping scandals, but at the launch of the Tour de France, which set off this weekend, officials were eager to prove it is now cleaner and drugs-free. Riders in this year's Tour will be subject to stringent tests after a pledge of zero tolerance toward drug cheats. From France tonight, our sports reporter, Kamian Zerim.
Modern-day gladiators. The PR folk behind the Tour de France don't really do subtle. Without a doubt, the toughest mass-appeal sporting event in the world. But the Tour is once again teetering on the brink of scandal before it's even started. Last year's champion, and once again a good bet for this Tour, Alberto Contador, goes to the Court of Arbitration for Sport just a few days after the finish to challenge a blood test that revealed banned substances. He could well lose his titles and cycling what's left of its credibility.
I think everybody worries about the image of the sport. But first of all, I don't set the rules. We follow the rules, and to be here, that's a part of following the rules.
Follow the rules indeed. For that was Contador's team manager, a former Tour champion who then had his own title revoked because he was caught doping. And into this mix ride a generation of British cyclists who have the best chance ever of getting on the podium.
I think teams like this and what we stand for and what we do and the way we go about our business, I think counts for a lot, really. And we can only control what we do, and I think anything outside of that, for me, is just distracting, really. And I think we just concentrate on getting our own house in order, and hopefully other people will follow suit when they see how good a job we are at doing it.
He flashes round his couple of laps, expertly.
And playing catch-up is what got cycling into this mess in the first place. In the old days, riders used alcohol and ether to dull the pain. They turned to EPO and steroids as science overtook the testers. The pressures to cheat are immense.
Now, I've been going at this for only a couple of miles. And if you pardon my French, I am cream crackered. Bear in mind, the guys that do this Tour, often well over 100 miles a day, up and down mountains, for the better part of an entire month. It is hard work. They are up against a serious challenge.
And for many, the temptation is just too much. Ask the doping cheat and whistleblower whose evidence led to Operación Puerto, one of the biggest cycling scandals of all time, in which none other than the current Tour champ Contador was implicated, but then later cleared.
Once you reach a professional level, which isn't easy, many people are left along the way like broken toys. After you've reached that stage, you've stopped studying. What does one do? You've got to take it, otherwise you're in the street or you go. I don't know, you take whatever you can. You've got to accept it.
Brit David Millar has been there too. Winner of 3 Tour de France stages, reformed doper, training hard now for this year's Tour, and firm believer that cycling has now cleaned up its act. New rules this season ban injecting any supplements, legal or otherwise. The sport, he believes, is the most tested in the world.
Are the pressures for young riders as great as they were when you made that choice?
I think the pressures are always individual. You put pressures on yourself. But I think what the great thing is there's no systematic doping now. There's no...
You truly believe that?
Oh, no, I truly believe there's no systematic doping. There's no teams with organised doping rings going on. If it's happening, it's individuals.
The press launch for this year's Tour was on the conveniently named Madman's Hill. The riders will cover 2,000 miles in less than a month, the equivalent of cycling up and back down Everest 3 times. The Tour de France is an extraordinary event, and it attracts extraordinary characters. Kamian Zerim, Channel 4 News, Puy de Fou, Brittany.
Check the Lycra.